So the big picture for this lesson is patterns of association. And that means you're looking at data graphs and you're trying to figure out what's going on. So here's a data graph. And the first thing I notice is that a lot of the points are in kind of a tight group here. And in fact, I'm going to circle the tightest part of that grouping. So when you have data that's grouped together like that, it's called a cluster. And you can identify a cluster just by looking at all the data and then looking at where there are clumps of data. And it's all relative depending on how spread out the data is. I'm also seeing points that are kind of off by themselves. Those are called outliers. And that means they don't really belong with the rest of the data set. They're just kind of out there on their own. So what you like to do when you're looking for patterns is you want to kind of determine what type of model could it be. Could it be a linear model, or would it be something else like a curve? I don't know. For this one, I think you could kind of say based on the cluster that it might go something like this. That might be a good model for the data. And depending on how close those points are to the pattern, you could say it's a strong correlation or a weak correlation. And just by looking at this, I would say it's kind of a weak correlation because there isn't a clear pattern of a line here. I mean, you can see they all sort of could be near this line, but it's not obvious. And also notice that the pattern seems to be slightly decreasing from left to right. So that could be a negative correlation. So I would say this is a weak negative correlation. And that's the big picture for this lesson.